Welcome to Athletic Definition's latest sports and fitness news episode, covering what's trending in fitness and sports around the world. I am your host, Coach Razy. Thank you for joining me today. Be sure to stick around. We're going to be covering topics such as the NBA Finals. What is a healthy Coke? Oscar de la Hoya, Apple Watch, and also Chael Sonnen talking about boxing shouldn't be more than 8 rounds. I wanted to get the show started off by saying it has been sponsored, and it has been sponsored by the letter Z. That's right, the letter Z. It is brought to you by Coach Ray Z, which is me. Please be sure to check out my new episode that dropped today on Coach Ray Z YouTube. It is on Sedona Marathon. So I did the episode last week, and now I finally had time to edit and drop the episode. So check it out, support it, share it, like it. It helps me in my YouTube algorithm. All right. So if you had a chance to watch the NBA Finals yesterday, it was exciting. I'm happy, first of all, because I did not want to see Boston win. If they win, they would, I think, lead the NBA with the most titles, beating the Lakers or tying the Lakers. I believe they have like 18 titles or would have been the 18th title. So I'm happy that the Golden State Warriors won. Not only that, but that Curry got the MVP. On a couple of the past shows, I mentioned that, a lot of the talk has been going on with KD and Curry, and, Curry won an NBA championship before KD got there, and then KD left. KD basically got injured, but that was the bubble year, so he didn't really miss much. He came back if his foot wasn't so big, and he made it actually further without Kyrie on his team. And then this year they got swept. Golden State went further. If you look at the numbers, yes, KD had, so many points and all around. He does show that he is the better player. I do feel, though, when you have such a good, talented team around you, it makes it a lot harder for any team to do any sort of double teaming. So when you have Green, even though he's not an offensive threat, he's just like the Dennis Rodman of the team, pestering you. And when he was younger, he did contribute more in point. Thompson, I still don't think he's 100% back since his injury. Before his injury, I mean, how are you going to double team when you have Curry, the best NBA shooter of all time in the NBA, and Klay Thompson, which probably has an actual better technique in shooting, but because of his injury, we'll see what happens between the Splash Brothers. For one, I'm happy they won it. In the first year they won it, I didn't like them, and I thought they kind of became cocky, and then it was when they started going up against LeBron, it was back and forth. The one time I actually rooted for LeBron was when he went to Cleveland. I just felt sorry for Cleveland, just such a kind of, as far as sports, losing town for so long with the Browns and everything else. And I'm happy for the Warriors, and the Curry won the NBA Finals MVP. Now the pressure is on KD, in my opinion, if he can win another championship or win a championship without Curry. Going along with NBA Finals, we had the first Mexican-American NBA champion yesterday. And although pretty much all the media is saying he's Mexican, he was actually born in the United States. He was born, I believe, in Oakland. He's from the Bay Area, 29 years old, 6'6". His parents are from Michoacan, Mexico. He competed in the NBA contest this year and got second place. He had this specially customized Warriors jersey with like the Mexican flag in the back with the numbers and the eagle. And he never got drafted. He started his professional career in Mexico. He played for, Mexican Liga Nacional de Barcelona. He played for Mexicali Sol. He went to the Marquez University. So he was just like a journeyman. He actually has been with the Warriors for, I think, the last he was going back and forth on the contract is what it says. So he actually didn't get to play in this final series. And some people might be like, well, then why are you guys celebrating it? It's because he didn't get drafted. He's following his passion. It's his dream. He got cut. He played it. He was an MVP in Mexico. He was one of the better players over there. So he says he misses it over there. But just the fact that a Mexican American won the NBA championship it's just opening the doors. It's giving little kids heroes. Growing up, there was no minority superheroes. Me being Mexican American, there was no too many athletes that you could really look up to. Few in boxing, even in comic books or the movies. The only, I think, Mexican hero that I could think of is Zorro. And besides that, the first really like minority hero that actually would win and did good was Bruce Lee. And besides that, I had like Chavez, Julio Cesar Chavez, and then later on more Latinos, especially in boxing, but just overall, like if you in the NFL, I could count the number of like Mexican Americans. It's Anthony Munoz, who is like one of the actually best offensive linemen in the NFL and rated one of the top best. I think in the 100 NFL greatest players, he's in the top 10. Anthony Munoz, let's see here, Tony Sendejas, who was a kicker for the Rams, and that's about it. Then there's but that a little bit later on, Sanchez, of course, from USC. I'm happy. I'm happy for the fact that he's inspiring other, generations to come. His name is Juan Toscano Anderson. When he played for the University of Marquette, he had to go with Anderson. I'm not quite sure. And now when he got to play in Mexico, he actually got to put the Toscano, and that's what he actually wears for the Warriors. Right now, his contract is up, and so there's actually no word if he will be returning to the Golden State Warriors. He considers himself Mexican. That's what he told the newspapers back in 2019. So he's a proud, good representative for many generations to come. And I hope personally to see more Mexican Americans in the NBA and just in pro sports in general, just besides boxing, although I love to see the Mexican style boxing. So moving on to what is a healthy Coke? Well, that is the latest TikTok trend as far as drink craze. And basically what it is, and I might mispronounce this, but it's balsamic vinegar. My tongue gets twisted with that word for some reason. And carbonated water. And it's supposed to be any carbonated water. As long as it's carbonated, it doesn't matter what brand or what flavor, because some of them come in flavors. And according to, I saw the video, and of course, if you follow the show and you want to see the videos, the trends, what I'm talking about, the articles that I pulled it from, it will all be included on the show notes, so you can take a look at it, or you could just go to TikTok and check out a healthy Coke trend. I'm so fascinated by this one because if it is actually healthy tasting Coke and it actually tastes good, then I want to try it for myself. The reviews from the people who've tried it, and see, there's no way to really know if they tried it or not, or they're just trolling, but they're mixed reviews. Some people say it tastes exactly like Coke. Some people say it's like healthy. Some people say it tastes just like vinegar and carbonated water. Being the fitness investigator that I am, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this to the next level. I'm actually going to be going to the store after I do my show, and I'm going to look for this type of vinegar, and then I'm going to get some carbonated water, and we're going to do it here live on Fireside. And hopefully maybe I could get some other people to try it and get their opinion, so it just won't be mine. But yeah, I'm going to continue to look into it, because if you know, I love Coke. I don't drink soda except after I accomplish some sort of feat. It's my way to earn it. And then that way I don't drink soda that often. So the last soda I had was when I completed the OC marathon, my 57th marathon, this past May? Yes, past May, like early May, maybe May 5th, around there. And the next soda that I will drink will be in October when I complete the Lake Tahoe Triple Marathon, or maybe during the marathon. If someone offers you a Coke, you take it. It has that good little sugar that you haven't had for a long time. So looking forward to that. But as I mentioned, this one, we're going to take it further. We're going to make a show out of it. We'll see if we can make a whole show out of it, or if we'll just use this and a couple other products to compare. Because I've actually been interested to do a whole show on carbonated drinks and replacements for soda. There's other products that maybe I can mix in. There's a Clear, so the Walmart knockoff, I believe it's called Zero. And there's other ones as well. I don't like all of it. Perrier water, there's some of it that's good, some of it that's bad. I still really haven't found anything as far as where I could say, oh, yeah, this is it. So I hope this is it, and we'll see what happens. So Oscar de la Hoya has been kind of been making the news here and there every day for maybe the last 2 weeks. Basically, he came out on a podcast, Ariel, I think, and I forget his that's his first name or last name, but he covers mostly MMA. Well, he came out on there and he said that he's actually glad that he survived because he got the virus and he's glad he survived. He said it hit him hard, but he was actually coming out of retirement to fight. And Oscar de la Hoya is 49 years old. His reactions, he said, are still good, but he was getting hit a lot during sparring. And even though he at the time he got reached out by Thriller, who had just done the Mike Tyson Roy Jones fight, and so they offered him quite a bit of money to fight Victor Belfort, and he agreed to it. He ended up getting the virus. It hit him hard, he said, and there was a replacement for that fight. It was Andrew Holyfield, and Victor Belfort just rocked him. He knocked him out, and Oscar de la Hoya says he basically dodged a bullet. I think he would have done better than Evander Holyfield, it's definitely past his prime, and I don't see Victor Belfort doing that to him in his prime because Evander Holyfield was the real deal Holyfield. So I just don't see that happening. He probably needed the money. I believe he has like 11 kids, and I'm actually kind of surprised he got clearance to do it because I know he's had like a heart issue for a long time, or he has some sort of hole in his heart. So Oscar de la Hoya said he dodged the bullet on that one, and he's glad he didn't get to fight Victor Belfort. And I kind of would have liked to see Oscar de la Hoya step into the ring one more time, but he said he's done. And that was pretty interesting. The other thing that I found interesting that he made the news again was he seems to be apologizing to Dana White. Not seems, he is apologizing to Dana White. He said, he wants to work together with them and do something new, which I found it interesting. It is a business, and Dana White has argued with Jake Paul, and then he came out on his podcast. Back in the day, he was actually going to box Tito Ortiz, and during the UFC, it was like a whole buildup, and he said he wouldn't work with him again, and then Tito Ortiz came back and fought in the UFC for his final fight. So it's a business, and even though Dana White's always made fun of Oscar de la Hoya and saying, cocaine's expensive, I wonder why De La Hoya would just be like, oh, I'm over it and want to continue to do business with him. I'm not quite sure. I'm sure it has to do with the money, or this was what I thought was the most interesting fact. De La Hoya mentioned that he wants to sell Golden Boy Promotion. If he does sell Golden Boy Promotion, he says it's worth $1 billion at least. He would become the first Latino billionaire athlete. The first Latino billionaire athlete, as I was fascinated by that because the headlines have been going around. LeBron James just recently became the first billionaire NBA player, and active NBA player. Jordan didn't become a billionaire until 11 years after he retired. I believe Tiger Woods is I think he's one of the guys on the list as far as billionaire. And really, I thought Mayweather would be pretty close with all his $100 million fights. But he's also spending a lot of money. And, from what I've been reading, he has to spend a lot of money also on his daughter's lawyer, who stabbed her ex-boyfriend, who is a rapper, who she has a son with, and I guess he was cheating, and so Mayweather's daughter tried to stab allegedly, and they're going to court, and that costs a lot of money. There's all these articles. Some say that Mayweather's going broke. Some say he's not. He's going to fight again. So we'll see. I thought he might have the chance, but he's not Latino, but definitely to become maybe the first active boxer to become a billionaire. So I kind of looked into it a little bit, and I want to do a whole show into who is the richest Latino athlete from what I saw kind of quickly. And then there was another article that showed, and I think that one was by Forbes, the richest Mexican athletes. So it's really what I thought. Most of them are soccer players. I think right now, Cristiano Ronaldo probably has the best chance of becoming the first active Latino billionaire. Messi is like right behind him. After that, I had to check. It's a race car driver, and then a couple soccer players. So yeah, if De La Hoya could do that, that would be amazing. it same thing. Just with the other NBA player, he would be opening doors. He would be inspiring younger generations to think about becoming a billionaire and to show that it's possible, and to think about generational wealth for us, not just hey living paycheck to paycheck. So I, for one, I'm a bit disappointed in how his career ended, and when at one point he was one of the biggest names, or was the biggest name. He was the biggest draw in boxing, and Floyd Mayweather was just pretty boy Floyd. And Mayweather turned out to me like to seem he was the bigger and better businessman, even though Oscar got the promotion company. Mayweather was the one closing the $100 million fights. He became Money Mayweather, and I was like, wow. I was really surprised at the whole turnaround, the whole promotion, and I thought Mayweather showing that not only is a boxer but is a businessman promoter. He's better than the La Hoya, and they fought and the whole thing. It was a close fight. There's some controversy on that, but let's see. Just if him putting that out there inspires other people to want to become the first billionaire athlete. I do too. I would love to be the first billionaire Latino athlete. So companies, reach at me. Let's network. Let's collaborate. And now let's move on to the watch. So I have an Apple Watch. This is the Series 3. So I'm a little bit out of the game, but there's a new update coming out. It is the let me see. I think it's it's the OS 9, and right now it is in developer beta, but it's free with it's supposed to be launched in July. And there's like 9 major things on the watch, and you let me know. Do you use your Apple Watch a lot to work out, or do you actually use the Matrix on your Apple Watch to work out, or do you use third-party apps as far as fitness, Strava, Map My Run, or other fitness apps just to track or monitor your workout, or do you actually use what Apple provides, the Apple Fitness? I know some people do, some people don't. So one of the improved features is going to be the heart rate zone. The other feature that they're improved on is stride length. Number 3 is ground contact time. Number 4 is vertical tracking. Number 5 is average power. And I'm a stat guy, so far I'm loving all that. We'll see. I wonder if my watch will be able to update that. Not sure. It'll have a race against the best or last run, which I would say most of the running apps already kind of have that. But if you don't have to go to a third-party app, would you just start using your Apple phone? Your Apple Watch more. It has a pacer on screen, matrix and alerts. It creates custom runs, workouts, and recovery segments. And number 9 is if you do multiple sports like a triathlete, Ironman, it automatically is going to switch between running, biking, and swimming for the triathletes. So as far as tracking, it'll kind of give you a nice breakdown without you having to actually switch. Let me know if you're excited about it, or if you use Apple. As I mentioned, I was going to do a review on an app, and I'm going to be having them on as guests, and I was going to try it out. And unfortunately, it's not quite ready for Series 3. It's more for the newer watches. I'm a little disappointed, but I still think it's a great feature for people who have a hard time keeping track of all their workouts. So I'm going to bring them on, and we'll figure it out for exactly what Series watch. For Apple it works, and right now I think it has like 80 workouts it tracks. So there's a lot of cool things, and I'm looking forward to that and trying more new tech as well. All right, so last and not least, we are going to be talking about Chael Sonnen. So Chael Sonnen, I believe he has a podcast, former MMA fighter, and that's why I watched the whole video. It sure looked like a podcast, but he was talking about how boxing shouldn't have 12-round fights. And part of me agrees, and part of me doesn't agree. As far as entertainment, if you can do 8 rounds, maybe even 6, maybe even 5, but then if you do 5, you're just pretty much copying MMA, and boxing is not MMA. Historically, boxing, they used to fight until one man dropped, and of course, that's not healthy. And with what we know now with mental health, trauma, concussions, there's no way we're going to get a fight sanctioned for 100 rounds or until man drops. Part of me thinks that's cool. It's the whole like Coliseum warrior way. You're either going to live a shorter life, but you'll live a more blessed life. As far as like, the way you're treated, how you're recognized, uh, the money you make, what you can afford for your family, but you're not going to live as long, or, you're going to just not be a professional athlete and have to go work a 9 to 5. Of course, for brain damage and all that, it's a whole different story now. Part of it, I would love to see, even 50 round fights. I remember watching 50 round fights, and there's something to me about being down and coming back at the end. And I've seen plenty of boxing fights where the guy comes back past the 8th round, on the 9th round, on the 10th round, on the 11th round, or even the final bell, the 12th, to win it. And as far as being an endurance athlete, to be able to endure, there's something remarkable about that, incredible. It's more passion, more heart. But yes, as far as brain damage, having more heart could get you more brain damage. But then you also think it all depends on the fighter, the style. Because Mayweather, even though he does say he and talks about some signs of brain damage, he's probably taken the least amount of damage of all fighters. So it really just depends on you, on what style of fighter you want to be. Of course, it's boxing, and no matter what style of fighter, you're gonna get hit. It's part of the whole sport. So if you don't like 12 round fights, I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. You guys let me know in the comments. What do you guys think? Do you guys think 8 round fights are good? Jake Paul's been doing that on his promotions. In a way, it's kind of like, okay, give me your best quicker instead of we're feeling each other out for too long. But really technical fighters, some of them are really slow starters. Like, what's the name? Limachenko, really slow starter. Probably like the first 2 rounds, he's just filling out the fighter. And that fight with, I think it was Victor Ortiz, maybe he would start off a little bit quicker, maybe he would have won, but it just depends. I still think we should keep 12 round fights overall, but we could definitely improve it. The idea that I did like he talked about was how in boxing, no matter what pro you're talking about, they have all been amateurs, which is true. It doesn't matter if it's Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, Julio Cesar Chavez. Actually, there's one fighter I could think that didn't have an amateur career, but pretty much they've all had amateur careers. And really, no one has done anything as far as like making that more entertaining. Say, for example, college football or the Olympics or college basketball. All that is amateur, and they make it entertainment. So entertaining that it's very competitive and sells out arenas, and it probably could compete. I need to check on the numbers, but it probably could compete, let's say like NFL, college. So if some promoter, somebody could come up with a cool idea to maybe improve the amateurs, that way they'll get more recognized, find a way to make them some money, even though they're amateurs. And then that way, when they become pros, they'll be more well known. And somehow it could just make the sport better. That's basically it. I love boxing. I would love to see it go. Right now there's some good, exciting fights, more exciting fights looking like they're going to be made or they're working on them. Ryan Garcia, looking to fight maybe twice this year, at least once. So there's more fights. Looking forward to them. Looking forward to more boxing and improving. And we'll see what happens with La Hoya and Dana White if they end up maybe teaming up, because La Hoya says he can clean up and he knows what's wrong with boxing. And Dana White says he's completely tired of boxing. So if they teamed up, it'd be interesting. And I hope you enjoyed this edition of Athletic Definition Sports News and Trends Around the World. My name is Coach Ray Z. I will be back with another show, and I will surprise you on the title and everything else. So if you would like to know what it is, when it is, be sure to follow me here on Fireside Live so you can be alerted, be part of the audience, participate. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time out of your Friday. I hope you have a great weekend and stay blessed. This is Coach Ray Z, and I'm out.